Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Ooh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 505. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Happy Wednesday, boy. Does it feel like a Wednesday? I think I'll take a Monday over whatever today was. You know?
Yeah.
This was tough. This was a tough one for me. This was a tough one.
If you had, real quick, days of the week draft, just lightning fast, because I'm curious what your thoughts are. Days of the week draft.
Saturday, first pick for sure.
See, I don't know, because Friday.
Yeah, I know Friday for you.
I love Friday, man, because the thing is you're not gonna really have. I mean, unless you actively make plans for Saturday, you don't necessarily have things on Saturday. So Friday, knowing that it's the end of the week, knowing that you get Friday evening to kick the weekend off, and you potentially don't have anything the day after, I would almost say Friday is the move. If we're drafting day.
I hear you, but I'm a big sleep in guy. And I can't have that on
Which
Friday.
is all the more reason Friday is a great day to look forward to that, because Sunday you might have church, Sunday you might have to go see the family.
That's like saying the ALCS is better than the World Series because you're looking forward to the World Series.
Apples and oranges.
Give me Saturday, Friday, Sunday. Honestly, I don't think it matters other than that. Like after that, it just doesn't matter.
That's fair.
You want a quick puppy update? Quick dog update?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So yesterday, Tuesday, we come home. I come home from work. I take Gracie on like a decent sized walk, like a good half-hour walk. Come back inside, work a little bit more. Paige gets home. And then we both go on the walk together. So she gets like another 45-minute walk after that, right? We got to go to small group. So go to Bible study, come back 2 hours later. She got into the pantry.
Dude.
And crushed, I would guess, $60, $70 worth of food.
Oh, man.
An entire thing of the King's Hawaiian sweet rolls.
She's got good taste.
Goldfish. Cheddar blast. Extra cheddar blast.
I can't knock her for going after what she clearly knows what she likes, and she went after
tortilla chips, Cliff Builder bar, Kind breakfast bar.
Is there anything there that she got into that wasn't
did well?
That just didn't, not a banger of a snack? I mean, come on.
She did well. She cleaned up. Not literally, because
Certainly
after
not.
she was done with that, she got into the trash and knocked that over and shredded all of that stuff too. So that was fun to come home to. Oh, and she pissed in the hallway on top of all of it. So it was just,
I'm going to eat your food.
I didn't know how to feel. Paige and I were just like in a silent, infuriated shock.
State.
For like 2 hours, dude.
She said, I'm going to eat all your food and I'm going to disrespect you to your face.
Unbelievable. Yeah. She's pooped like 7 times since then. She threw up a full Hawaiian roll, and I was like, where's the other 11? You know? You just have a rock in your stomach of King's Hawaiian rolls. Tough. Yeah. Being a dog dad is not easy, man. They don't prep you for this stuff.
They don't prepare you for these moments.
Speaking of which, great hat. And if you're not watching on YouTube, figure it out. It's a good hat.
Appreciate it. Christmas gift. Speaking of Christmas gift, the Blue Jays got a gift of their own.
Oh, the segue king, dude.
Finally, it's about time. And I'll be honest with you, I feel like in my head, I gotta take a step back here because I feel like we gave Anthony Santander the respect he was due, because when you really look at primarily the power numbers, you go, this guy, at least for the last call it 3 years in baseball, has been one of the better power bats, not just in the American League East, not just in the American League, but all of baseball. So I want to preface it by saying that like we have given him his due, but I feel like maybe in our heads, correct me if I'm wrong here, do we
overhype it?
No. Are we overhyping the move to Toronto on behalf of the Blue Jays just because it's a name? Like they finally got somebody. Like we're treating the Blue Jays getting Anthony Santander as if it was fill in the blank team getting a player maybe a tier up. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get it.
We're going.
I think I can take a bite out of that. Yeah.
Do you kind of pick up what I'm putting down?
I think so.
Or am I just pulling this away out of left field? Because
no, I think I've picked it up. You put it down and I picked it up.
I'm glad, because like if this is the biggest move the Blue Jays make all off season, it's like, I mean, they got a body, they got a warm body, and that's no disrespect to Santander, but like, again, you go back to the track record of the Blue Jays, and similar to like the Padres, you're just throwing money at the wall. The Giants, even, they're throwing money at the wall, see what sticks, see which player, which free agent goes up and grabs it. This time it was Anthony Santander, which, by the way, I saw a quote the other day, or from the presser, I guess it was actually yesterday, where was it like the president of baseball ops or somebody in the front office apparently told him, yeah, we had a jersey with your name on it floating around the office all off season. I'm like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Maybe you were tied to Anthony Santander, but let's not pretend like this was written in the stars.
I'm so out on a free agent signing needing to have some type of extended time attachment storyline. Like every free agent is like, here's a picture of me as a kid in this uniform. And I'm like, dude, if you played for any little league in our generation, I was a Giant, I was a Cardinal, you were an Astro, like we were all over the place.
Oh, this is fun. No, this is a fun exercise. Let me go back and think here. Okay. I was
a Cardinal way too many times, by the way.
True. Same. That was probably
way too many times.
Yeah, I was like Rich Hill in the Red Sox. It was like, I guess I'm going back to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
All right. I was in an alternate universe. If I made it to the big leagues and I'm a big league player getting ready for, let's say, my sixth big league season, and the storyline that they're going to show at my at bats for my All-Star game appearance, it's going to be, can you believe that Kyle donned a fill-in-the-blank jersey? I was a Philly.
You're a Philly?
I was a Philly. That was my first ever team, actually. T-ball. Phillies, Diamondbacks, Orioles, White Sox, Rangers, Astros, Cardinals. There were some more in there. I know there were.
We're not counting club teams, right? We're just talking SYA.
No, SYA. That's all. Yeah, that's all it was for me. Yeah.
I think my first team, I was a Rocky.
Oh yeah, Rockies. I was a Rocky for sure.
T-ball was Rocky. D-backs was like Coach Pitch. There's a big gap here. I don't know what happened after that. I think that was like the stretch of Cardinals. There could have been a 4 or 5 year run on the Cardinals. Like if I was to be put into the SYA Hall of Fame, I'd have to probably wear a Cardinals lid. And then went to Giants. And then when the Nationals came to town, the Giants team stayed together, but we switched.
Correct.
To the Nationals.
That. I remember that.
Yeah.
But to your point, they always have to tie it in this, like, stop. It's okay. It's okay to just like, we're happy to have this just
guy.
have a guy.
We made it happen. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I got Santander tattooed on my arm 3 years ago, waiting to get you. Like, shut up. It's fine. You don't have to go. Just
it's a
this
business.
Creepy, like, stalker status, saying that like we've been tied to you forever. No, you haven't. If this was a priority of yours, Blue Jays, this would have happened 2 months ago. So I don't want to hear it. I'm out on those. All done.
Blue Jays, though, does this move the needle for you in terms of the offense?
I don't know.
It has to because I just got done saying that, like, we gave him the respect he was due for the very reason that the power numbers are there, indisputable. He's not just coming off of a hot year. I mean, he is, but it's not just that alone. It's not that isolated. 3 years we're going on now. We're assuming he's able to replicate his efforts last year to some degree, maybe not to the same degree, but similar degree. That'll be 4 years in a row that we're talking about the power that he provides, whatever offense he's a part of. So
he brings some pop. And
he helps the lineup, but in that division, forget the league as a whole. In that division, I just don't know how much it moves them up the board, if at all.
You just don't have a ton of depth. And we do have to remind ourselves that, like, Bo Bichette had a terrible year last year.
Right. So some things need to go right.
That's the norm. I think he'll come back to what's normal, at least close to it. Vlad did have a good year last year. I'm assuming in a walk year, potentially, he's going to pop off. Throwing a switch hitter to split those guys up, kind of weird to imagine Santander in the 2-hole. If you were to assume that's the route, I don't really know their lineup. I mean, do you try to get Varsho back on the horse and lead him off and then go Bo Bichette 2, Santander 3, Vladdy 4? I don't love that. I don't love Vlad being 4.
Vladdy right now is projected in the 2-hole, Santander 3, Bichette 4, which I'm not wild about. I would rather Springer. I would rather hedge my bets on Bichette being having a bounce back, being and again, I'm throwing left, right, switch out the window. I don't care about that, and I know that I'm not a big league manager. So what difference does my opinion make? But in looking at, dare I say, traditional lineup fits, I'm looking more at the type of hitter you are and less about which side of the plate you come from. Because you see guys with reverse splits are very much a thing in baseball. And it's certainly a case-by-case basis there. And I'm not saying that Bichette has reverse splits or Vladdy has reverse splits, but just in terms of the type of hitter you are, I see, again, traditionally speaking, Bo Bichette fitting in as like a 2 guy and maybe bump. If Vladdy is projected to have the year that I think many people are hoping that he does, given the nature of his status in impending free agency, put Vladdy in the 3-hole, let him pop off. You have Santander in the 4-hole as a little bit of protection, and then you figure it out 5 through 9. Because you added.
That's where the depth is that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I struggle with the back half of that lineup. But like, I don't know, like Bo hitting forward, just I just picture him slapping singles through the right side, and I struggle seeing Vlad scoring from second over and over. I struggle seeing a Santander getting first to third. Like, I don't know. Like I would probably prefer to have a little bit of speed up top. And I don't know, George Springer is a wash for me. Like the guy's going to play 90 games every year. Like it's just, I think he's done. I think he's washed. So relying on him as a leadoff, like everyday guy just doesn't feel that way.
Well, let me ask you this. With the names that are still out there, do you think the Blue Jays are done? Do you think that they could? Because look, we love to joke about it, and to our credit, it ends up falling through more times than not. But every offseason, you get to a point in free agency where the whole mystery team news text alert update that you get seemingly a dozen times in offseason, you get to a point in the offseason where some teams start to get a little desperate and they make a move for a guy, and those things that alert actually holds true. So are the Blue Jays maybe and I use mystery term mystery team loosely because I know that, you know, they have ever so slightly been connected to an Alonso, maybe even a Bregman. So they wouldn't be a true dark horse in that regard. But could you see some addition being made of one of those two potentially?
I could see Bregman. I could see Bregman more than Pete. I feel like if you go Pete, it gives me like the Red Sox getting Trevor Story before a Xander Walker vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like a safety net will play him in this position while they're both on the roster and then slide him in when we lose this guy.
Yeah, but
I feel like if they get Pete, it just closes the door on Vladdy. Even if he does hit the market next year, you could still negotiate. Obviously, like you could still re-sign him.
They've got the money. Yeah,
yeah, and I think the extension's done. I think it's kind of silly to still get these notifications that they're in talks. I think Vlad's definitely going to hit the market. I think it's dumb for him not to. And just try to drive that number up a little bit. So I would lean Bregman more as the fit there. And if you put Bregman in that lineup, that gets me feeling some things.
I mean, for what it's worth, Will Wagner is projected to be their DH right now. So it's not like Pete. I agree with you in terms of Bregman. I think Bregman is just a more versatile fit for any team that ultimately gets him.
Well, what are they projecting? Are they projecting
Santander
and left?
So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I get your comparison with Xander and Story and all that, but this theoretically could work more so than that, because with that you had to bump Story over, you had to move him around. It wasn't as seamless of a fit. But with this, you could easily slot one in at first and the other as the DH and not even think twice about it. And make a run at it this year. Even if you lose out on Vladdy, you still have two names there that you could work with this year.
For sure. See, to me, like I would prefer to rotate Santander and Springer at the DH spot. I need to look at that roster, but rotate those two guys between right field and DH. Then I'm going to feel a little bit better about the longevity. I want to see who their other outfielders are. Meow. Scroll,
right now they got Nathan Lukes, Springer, Santander.
Loperfido. That's where I was missing a name. So yeah, man, I could see Loperfido in left, or Springer, or Varsho in center, or rotate those two, put Varsho in left. I think Loperfido is going to play a lot. Put him in center. I know he struggled with the stick after they traded for him, but that's a good name. That's a prospect that everyone should pay attention to. And you know that Davis Schneider is going to float around and get his time get his time in different spots, whether it be, in the infield or occasionally starting in left or whatever. So I think getting Springer off his feet and keeping him healthy is probably priority number one. Like, let him, like, you're attached to that name, you're attached to that contract. You're not getting out of it. You're not moving him. You got to make sure you can get anything you can out of him. So allowing him to DH more often. So I feel like Alonso would be like a forced fit. I feel like Alonso would be like we missed out on so many other names, and kind of what you were talking about, like what the Giants seemingly do pre-Buster Posey, throwing money at the wall and throwing contracts at the wall and just seeing like, hey, this will work. And then you look at the 4th or 5th place finish or whatever in the division, and you're just like, man.
See, I disagree. I don't know if force is the right word. I'm still with you. I think Bregman would be a better
holes.
I think Bregman would be a better fit, but I think generally speaking, you're not going to be upset with either of those. We don't have to go
not to mention Andres
we don't have to go on
Gimenez.
anymore about the Blue Jays. Yeah,
let's not forget that move too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm not.
I'd feel good about that lineup. I would feel good about that lineup if Bregman slides in. But I feel like the rotation needs to get bolstered a little bit, and I don't even know like what options.
Latest on Bregman is that he and the Dodgers, he and the Tigers,
just used to saying it, huh?
At a standstill. No, I mentioned Dodgers because we got to get into some Dodgers talk here. Kirby Yates, it's not official. Last I checked, but the plan is they've reached a tentative agreement according to Bob Nightingale, pending a physical. So that has yet to be officially reported at this exact moment in time. That could change very quickly, but we got to talk about this for just a minute. But I think we do have a voicemail on this very topic.
Love the voicemails.
I think it's voicemail time.
Hey fellas, AJ Torres. It's been a while, I know, and I just want to say something that nobody else is going to say, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not pissed off at the Dodgers. I'm pissed off at the majority of the owners and the general managers of baseball because it's disgraceful. I'll give credit to some organizations, of course, but if you are a poverty organization like the Mariners, and I'll give a pass to some of them that are in a money crisis because of, God forbid, the ratings like the Padres and the owner passing away. But when you see things like Kirby Yates going to the Dodgers, Kyle Finnegan on the market, it's like you're telling me that every team can't use an extra bullpen arm to make sure that the bullpen is intact for the whole entire year. It's absolutely crazy. It's like they're not even trying anymore. It's absolutely freaking despicable. Majority of the general managers are to blame because you can't tank in this sport. For 162 games, you cannot tank. You want butts in seats? Give a damn. Try. There's guys out there. Guys for cheap. Guys that'll help the ball club. And while everyone waits on their hands and knees and wants to pay pennies, the Dodgers will say, hold my beer, which apparently is going to be like $30 a pop this offseason into the new season, but I digress. But come on. Everybody's doing nothing, and the Dodgers are just getting better. Screw blaming the Dodgers. Blame the other teams. Take it easy, fellas. Hey, fellas, AJ Torres. It's been a while, I know.
We're running it back?
We're running it back, I guess. I don't know why they did that. It's not. So here's the deal. I had to upload it to the web soundboard because my actual soundboard's not working. So apologize
whatever, nerd.
For the repeat. Yeah, I'm such a dweeb. Yeah, I mean, sort of a summary of kind of what we talked about last episode. You can't. It's easy to see, and I'll admit I'm guilty of it. I saw the Kirby Yates update, and I'm like, And I tweeted out, I was like, who pissed off the Dodgers? But then you have to take a step back, and I saw a few takes that expressed or rather brought this back down to earth. And they're like, look, it's easy to get upset because you see Kirby Yates signs with fill in the blank with Dodgers. It's easy to get upset over that. But in reality, I would venture to say if any other team in baseball really, really wanted him, you can't say the same for Sasaki. You probably can't say the same thing for Snell or anybody else essentially that's gone to the Dodgers in the last 24 months. But I would have to think that if you really wanted Kirby Yates, you probably could have gotten him before the Dodgers got to him. I think the Dodgers were just looking around at this point in the offseason going, I mean, let's keep this thing rolling. No, who's left? Well, maybe we need a reliever. Well, we don't need a reliever, but we haven't added a reliever in 24 hours, so let's go add a reliever. They go get Kirby Yates, and then the corresponding report is that they're now shopping Ryan Brasier. So it's literally
shopping him for what?
It's you add a reliever. Apparently, you got to get rid of a reliever. It's vintage, just classic fantasy baseball management where you're just like, I'm kind of tired of this toy. I'm gonna check the waivers and see what I can pick up. And you add a guy, and then he may not even play for you before the next day's worth of games hits. You've already dropped that guy. It's possible the Dodgers end up dropping Kirby Yates and pick somebody else up or trade him for somebody else that they like a little bit more, because it's monopoly. They're playing with house money at this point, and I can't even be upset at them because they're identifying their needs, their wants, and they're going out and getting them. So I can't even
stop saying
pretend
needs.
to be upset.
I can't say needs. I do agree with you.
To them, it's a need, I guess.
Run me through the rotation. Tell me, you don't look it up. I know you've got it. We can run through this. Okay, I'll put this down.
Well,
Shohei.
Okay, we got Shohei in no particular order. Shohei, Glasnow,
Snell,
Yamamoto, Sasaki,
Gonsolin.
No, who was the sixth though? There was a sixth before you got to that tier.
Gavin Stone.
No, well, Stone's out this year, I believe. Maybe it was five. Ohtani, Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Sasaki, Kershaw, if you bring him back, if and when you bring him back, Dustin May, Bobby Miller. We said Gonsolin, we said Stone, who again I think is out.
Someone has to pitch in the bullpen, and then you start throwing out those names: Vesia, Brasier, Gratterall,
Yates,
Kopech, Evan Phillips, Trinan, Vesia. Did I say Vesia already?
Kenley Jansen's trying to come back. He is willing to pitch for peanuts at this point so he can go back to LA.
It's cool, man. Do what you want to do. They're clearly doing whatever they want to do. It is weird that other teams aren't hopping on these deals, but whatever. I don't know. I did see a funny Reddit comment that I definitely had to read off.
Mr. AC Milan in the chat. You
rewind a little bit, pal.
You just missed us.
Yeah.
We talked potential Alonso to the Jays move just moments ago. So
send it back about 15, 20 minutes.
We covered it. Don't want you to think we forgot about you. All right.
The Reddit comment is great. Breaking, you, the reader, have reached a tentative deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers pending a physical. It's everybody, man. It's just I'm running out of places. Some guys aren't going to be able to play. Some guys aren't going to get innings. It's going to be interesting. I think it is now shifted to where there might be some sort of pressure on Dave Roberts to get everybody the ample amount of time to make sure that like you're not ditching a hot hand just to get somebody in the lineup or in the game from the pen. And it's
sure, but I mean,
that's a good problem to have. There's not too much else he needs to manage.
But this isn't 11U Little League. Like these are grown men. Some guys are just not going to get time, and they're just going to have to be okay with that.
I'm not talking about feelings being hurt. I'm talking about keeping everybody in a good spot. Like if you don't get ABs, it's cobwebs, right?
Now,
if you're not,
yeah.
If you see what it's like when a closer doesn't have a save opportunity for a week, and then a manager just throws him in a blowout just to get and it messes with him, right? It could screw things up. So that's what I'm saying is that like that's the only pressure that I can think of. That's the only thing that Dave Roberts is going to have to deal with is managing getting each guy enough time.
The only pressure that Dave Roberts is feeling this season, we joked about it last episode, setting the single season wins record and ultimately winning the World Series. That you're just going to have to do whatever you can to absolutely
save this,
vaporize anybody that's in front of you.
Save this clip, save the date. That regular season win total record, the sentiment around that, the question from the media, that'll be snubbed within 2 weeks of spring training. It'll be snubbed.
For the record, I'm not saying he's waking up and writing that on his whiteboard. It's more of a like a benchmark and less of like an isolated accomplishment. I'm saying that ultimately Dave Roberts is going to do whatever it takes, or I would imagine, I would hope, I would think with the pressure that he's more than likely going to be facing this year, given the roster that they've constructed for this season, is that they are going to have to go out, win every single game. They're going to have to go 162-0 and win by 15. Because we talked about it last episode, this team is too good, and you can say that about a given team coming into a new season, like, man, this team is really good. It's kind of World Series or bust for them. But the Dodgers quite literally have no choice.
Yeah.
I mean, you have an all-star and or an MVP candidate at nearly every spot on your roster. Even guys on the bench.
Tired of talking about them.
I'm tired of talking about it too. It
hasn't even started.
I'm tired of talking about it too, and I'm not hating. I'm simply saying this is the reality that they're more than likely going to be facing this season. And they're you want to talk expectations? That's what they're up against this year, because that's what they've built. They put the target on their own back. That's just a fact.
I think there's teams in the past that have put a target on their back, and then there's this. I don't know what this is.
I don't know what this is.
This ain't a target. I don't know what this is. This is glow in the dark. You can never lose sight of me target. This is reflective short shorts on the cyclist on the side of the road at night.
This is security vest, orange and neon yellow reflective lining vest.
That's right.
On a city sidewalk.
That's right.
Forget the woods.
Big old target.
We're in broad daylight. Can't miss them.
Yep.
This is what we're dealing with the Dodgers. Speaking of the Dodgers, future Dodger Paul Skenes, his MLB debut patch card was found. And you want to get into a little bit of conspiracy here with this?
Oh, I'm down. Always down.
I mean, the likelihood of this being, the odds of this are slim to none, but I have yet to see anything to disprove this.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, no, you're not on Twitter anymore. But friend of the pod, Dallas Braden.
Known conspiracy theorist.
Sure. Known pack ripper.
Mm-hmm.
Tweeted this out 3 days ago.
Okay.
After ripping what seems to be packs from 10 boxes.
Okay.
He has yet to comment or reveal who it was.
Okay.
Do you know what state Dallas Braden lives in?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Pennsylvania.
That's quite a limb, and you're wrong. And I know that you know the right answer. He lives in California. Not to dox the guy, but I think people can sort of take that leap. The card was found by an 11-year-old collector in California. Now I know he's a nice guy, and I'm not saying he would go as so far to gift something like this to maybe a family friend or something of that nature. But I just find it really interesting that he posts that debut patch 3 days ago, has yet to reveal who it is, and then 3 days later the card pops up in California.
Okay. Is there can we connect dots between the 11-year-old?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if this is like a family friend situation and Dallas looked at this and was like, you know what? I've got a good life. I'm gonna make somebody else's. Because we don't know the identity of the 11-year-old yet. Understandably so, but
yeah,
I'm just saying.
I'm glad that didn't come out right away. I'm glad we can keep some things under wrap for a little bit. I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more heat behind that conspiracy theory. I'm a little let down, to be honest with you.
It's not a conspiracy theory. I just sort of preface it by saying that it's really just
you got me too hyped up.
It's a
That's
thought.
what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good journalist question.
You know what? I'll take that. I'll take the L there.
All right. Good. I was geared up.
That's
I was
on
ready
me.
to go.
That's on me. I shouldn't have. Yeah, I shouldn't have called it a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. It's
also
sort
there's
of
a lot of people that live in California, so I don't know.
Speculation.
This is
also
falling
true.
apart as we speak.
But do you not find it odd though that we have yet to figure out? We've yet to hear from Dallas who this debut patch is.
As far as odd goes, look it up in the dictionary. You will see Dallas Braden's face. So I don't think it's too crazy. What I do like, and I think we talked about this when this was first announced, that it was put out there, and like the Pirates had their offer, that we wanted it to go to a kid. We didn't want it to go to like some weirdo, stalker collector. Like I don't get me wrong. You and I both like memorabilia. There's stuff all over our walls. I think it's really cool. I'm not super into baseball cards like I was when I was a kid. Neither are you. But like,
I was there for a minute, but
I just don't get the weirdo adult hanging around kids trying to get an autograph, leaning through the net before a game. Like I can't ever be that guy.
Can't get behind it. I agree.
So I don't know. The sentiment of it is just like, I want a kid to win. I want a kid to pull this card. Logistics suck for the Pirates. You know what I mean? Like the Pirates threw that offer out there, potentially hoping that someone in at least the Northeast region would win to be able to, attend and take advantage of those.
They said
kid in California will.
Well, they said the offer's still staying, so I don't know what that looks like.
Was the kid just never going to go to school? This is 11-year-old though. I mean, that's about the right age to start admiring a Livy Dunn. You know what I mean? That's about when you start when you start getting eyes for that. So that throws a wrench into it a little
Paul
bit.
Skenes, watch out, buddy. You should have never put that patch on your uniform. That's all I'll say.
Oh man, that's cool though. That's cool. I think we went over it last time. What is it worth? Like on a monetary
Oh,
value?
what they say, like $500K.
That's cool, man. That's cool. A Millie. Bridge to Bucktober podcast. Obviously, here in the chat, they'd have the inside scoop a little bit. It's nice to be able to break down the Pirates offer. Like it,
Yeah,
it
I mean,
is
you could
but
sort
can
of,
you put a price on, hanging out with a hot chick when you're 11 years old? It's that's you can. It's a tough argument.
I mean, you're at that age. The reality of it is, you're at that age where you can sort of do your flirting, but it's not weird because you're 11 years old. What are they going? Of course, Livy Dunn's going to eat it up.
What did we do every time we traveled for club baseball when we were 11 years old? We hit a Hooters every time. That's just
I don't know
what we did.
I don't know what teams you were on. I never made my way to Hooters at 11.
And one of the kids always pretended that it was his birthday. That's just how we rolled. Austin Redmond, if you're listening, you were always leading that charge for sure. So yeah, it's definitely that. Yeah, it does. That's definitely that age. So it's a part of the equation.
If that 11-year-old's listening, don't take the offer. It's
Sorry,
great that the Pirates did that and all, but don't take it.
It's a good story. Yeah, I would sit on that puppy and let that number go up, and have college paid for, get a house. All that stuff is taken care of right away.
That's the dream. That's the dream. Speaking of dream, the dreams of 3 baseball legends came true yesterday. Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner. Before I forget, I don't want to let it pass because I know we'll get into these guys, but before I forget, just major props to Billy Wagner. Hold it down for us D3 athletes out there. Mad props. In fact, in my playing career, we actually matched up with his very own Ferrum College. So I know it well. He's a Virginia native, holding it down for the VA, holding it down for the D3 athletes. Much love to Billy Wagner. But yes, Ichiro, CC Sabathia, Billy Wagner. Look, the hot topic right now that everyone's talking about, Ichiro missing the unanimous vote by a single vote. And my take on it is pretty simple, actually. Think about it like this. Because I had somebody in the comments I put the post out on Instagram. Actually, it was friend of the pod, Rocco, part of our other friend of the pod, friend of the program, Ryan Ripkin's crew over there and what they're doing. Rocco, I put his tweet out where he said, somebody really took a look at their ballot, saw Ichiro's name and said, nah, I'm good. It's a joke that he didn't receive 100%. And then there was somebody in the comments, which, yeah, it was one person that said this, but I'm just going to pretend as though it was
Pick him out.
100. Somebody said, so you don't know how Hall of Fame voting works. Got it. And I said, yes, I forgot the clause that said players can't receive 100% of the vote. Thanks for reminding me. My take on this is simple, as I was saying. There's almost 400 voters. There's 394 voters. He got 393. My take on this is real simple. Do I think he should have been unanimous? Absolutely. And you want to know why? If you take 394 voters, You take him to, let's just say you take him to a big convention center, a big wide open room. You have 394 desks laid out with a piece of paper on it, a nice sharpened, crisp pencil or pen, ballpoint if you choose, a nice comfy chair in case you need extra time and you're going to be there a while. I don't think you will be, but in case you are, there's a nice comfy chair padded on both sides. It's at a cool 70 degrees. There's a breeze coming through because I've got the doors open. There's even a popcorn vendor over on the side popping some popcorn in case you need a snack. Maybe a container of some cool beverages that you could choose if you so like. You take that, you sit down, you take your pen, you take your pencil, you sit down for this test, and this test has one question on it. You want to know what the question is? The question is Ichiro Suzuki a Hall of Famer? And there's two options on there. You want to know what those two options are? One of them is yes. The other is no. It's a private test. This isn't a groupthink activity. This isn't like a, hey, let's collaborate. Let's get a message board going. Let's show our work. You're sitting there. You're taking a test with one question on it. And the question is Ichiro a Hall of Famer? Yes or no? There should be 394 yeses coming back to the test proctor in that convention center. When those 394 tests get turned in, he shouldn't even have to bother looking because they should all be yeses. So spare me the whole, we talked about this before, spare me the whole, well, I'm gonna save my vote for somebody that needs it. Is the guy a Hall of Famer or not? Is the guy a Hall of Famer or not? You can go ahead and spare me the whole, well, we got to keep the sacred element of it, and nobody deserves to be unanimous because that would be against the integrity of the sport. That would go against the competitive nature of the sport. Whatever that means. Is Ichiro a Hall of Famer? There should be 394 yeses. He should be unanimous because if you watched any part of his career, you would know that he's a Hall of Famer. He had a Hall of Fame career after spending almost a decade in Japan, where he combined over 4,000 hits. And I understand that was his game, but how you can have the arrogance to sit there and say, no, I'm going to pass. I don't understand it. And I it's just further evidence that the Hall is growing as a just joke, ultimately.
Yeah. The system sucks, man. By the way, you should write a book. You really set the tone there.
I tried. I really like setting the scene.
Yeah, you really did. Yeah. The system's just broke, man. Like there's no other way around it. These writers, the ego of these guys is just unbearable. And it doesn't make any sense, man. Like, I think nothing against Billy Wagner and nothing against CeCe. There's Hall of Famers, and then there's altered the game Hall of Famers. Ichiro changed everything. Changed it all. And was the first Japanese player to do it, man. It's wild. I don't know. I don't get it. But whatever. I'm kind of out on the percentages, to be honest with you. It's not really anything that I'm gonna get too heated about anymore. He's in. A homer is a homer, right? Whether it goes 315 or 505, it's out. It's gone. So Hall of Famer's a Hall of Famer. But yeah, writers are they're dopey, man. This is a joke. I can't even pay attention to it anymore.
There's a comment on Facebook that sort of is what stemmed my little rant earlier just a minute ago, or was related to it. But he said, here's my take. You can argue any of those players and this was in response to the post I put out, sort of a recycled post that I put out each year, just as a reminder for people to remind you who wasn't, like some of the names that weren't unanimous in baseball history. Ken Griffey Jr., Tom Seaver, Hank Aaron, Tony Gwynn, Randy Johnson, Babe Ruth, Ricky Henderson, Willie Mays, Ted Williams, Roberto Clemente. I swear every time I read that list, it just makes my blood boil. I'm like, what are we even doing anymore? But he said, here's my take. You can argue any of those players being better than another Ruth over Griffey, Ricky over Ted, or whatever. But there's no one you can argue who is better than Mo, and that's why it was 100%. To which I responded, I get that. But my point is, would you look at someone like Ted Williams and say, no, he's not a Hall of Famer? Sure, he may not be the best, but when he's on your ballot and you have the choice of selecting yes or no, it's a simple answer. So again, it goes back to my point is like we need to stop looking at this as like a ranking system. Is the person a Hall of Famer or not?
Yeah.
And if you have somebody who 99.99 repeating percent of the world agrees is, and you've got that one person who's like, I just don't see it. That person, I saw an idea earlier on social that I'm a huge fan of, should be relegated to some other level of sports journalism because you don't belong in the hall.
Yeah, man, it's fair. Like I said, dude changed the game. So super happy for all three of these guys. Ichiro was just smack dab in the middle of our childhood, and all of us practiced standing there with a wiffle ball bat, pulling the sleeve. It was incredible to see his style that no one else had, that I don't think anyone else will ever be able to repeat. A ridiculous defender. On top of that, just a monumental name, and we're officially getting old. We're officially getting there to where we're watching guys that we grew up watching get into the Hall of Fame. But I don't know, my man CC, that's big. That's big time.
Literally.
I love.
No,
CC,
I'm just kidding.
Man.
He's slimmed down. He's taking care of himself.
The second he got done,
immediately, dude. Immediately.
Did you catch the video? Him chilling in his living room when he got the call, surrounded by people.
Yeah, man. It's cool to see even the guys that know that they're pretty much gonna get in. It's cool to still, like, you can be Ichiro, for example. You can be sitting there knowing that you're gonna get in. But I just have to imagine, obviously I don't know, but I would have to imagine that it still doesn't sink in until that phone rings and you're like, this is really happening. And you see that with all these guys. And it's even more so for guys like Billy Wagner who were waiting and waiting and waiting. And you finally get the call and you're like, man, That one's got to feel the sweetest, I think. Oh my goodness. Like you look at that and you go, I might not be Ichiro. I might not even be CC Sabathia in certain respects, but I'm in the same club as them. I'm in the same fraternity as those guys. And that's got to be an awesome feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, we could sit here and talk numbers for these guys all day, but I don't know how much it matters, Hall of Fame's a Hall of Fame. Just incredible, groundbreaking, frontier leading guys, and super, super happy for all three of them getting in. And a cool class. I like that. I like the smaller classes for some reason. It just hits a little different. So, any guys, I'm putting you on the spot here. I don't know if you got any notes on it. Any guys that are off the ballot that didn't get enough votes? Any guys that just didn't make it that we're done talking about?
Let's see here. I did have that. Andrew Jones was sort of on the outside looking in, but in terms of falling off the ballot completely, we've got Carlos Gonzalez, Curtis Granderson, Adam Jones, Ian Kinsler, Russell Martin, Brian McCann, Hanley Ramirez, Fernando Rodney, Troy Tulowitzki, and Ben Zobrist.
A lot of guys that were their first time on the ballot, which is tough.
Regarding, speaking of first ballot, next year, Cole Hamels, Ryan Braun, and Matt Kemp are 3 names that will be joining next year.
I don't know if I can get there with those 3.
I sure can't.
Yeah. Any memories around those 3 guys? I mean, I got to see, pretty cool seeing CC throws 3,000th strikeout.
Oh, around the 3 guys that got in. I was like, I
Chase Field.
couldn't tell you much about Ryan Braun in terms of any particular heartfelt memories I have. I mean, honestly, my memory with CC is you, like you said, being able to catch that.
That was awesome. Yeah.
I mean, that's
was cool,
insane.
man.
And then that run he went on with Milwaukee when he got brought in. I mean, to be able to do what he did, you want to talk about a horse. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore. And you won't see that
rest. Anymore. Unbelievable. That was awesome. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's a sweet spot for me, dude. Like, obviously as a Yankees fan, like he's always advocated for guys. He's always advocated for players. Just a ton of swag. Jordan guy, supports all the good stuff, and you know, had a little bit of a rough patch personally and came through it. But I mean, between the 2 things, I would say the biggest 2 things are when he was playing the Rays and it was his last start of the season and he was about to reach, I think it was 150 innings or something like that for a bonus.
It was like 500K, I think, wasn't it?
It was like to reach a bonus that was like a good chunk. And he retaliated off of one of his guys getting hit the inning prior and hit a Ray and got tossed and only needed that half inning to get over the hump. But and screaming at the Rays dugout, like just a big old freaking grizzly bear, dude. Like
it's 500K.
One of the coolest guys, man. Good teammate, I bet. And yeah. And then the other one, just like his arm blowing out, and that was his last time on the mound. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And
wow.
when the interviews afterwards, where they
that.
ask him, they're like, "Hey, do you like?" Saw an interview, like, "Do you miss anything?" He's like, "No, I don't miss anything. I don't miss playing." He's like,
I mean, if you're gonna go out, that's the way to go out.
That's the way to go, dude. Like, literally leaving I can't. My body doesn't allow me to do this anymore.
It's crazy.
So, what a champ, man! What a horse to the end. Exciting for him.
And then Ichiro, when he was with Miami, obviously being in the division up here with the Nats, he made his way up here a handful of times. And for some reason, I feel like I would always catch them playing the Marlins whenever I would go around that time.
Yeah.
So I got to catch. I mean, I caught him a handful of times up here, and he'd be just vintage Ichiro with his long strides and just a lanky way of going about things.
I think I caught him getting like a stand-up triple in Coors Field when he was a Marlin.
Tracks.
I think I caught him doing that, which was sick. Yeah, dude, and he was like 40, like stand-up triple, just gliding. I don't know. It's hard for me to like sit back and have like incredible memories about Billy Wagner. I know he's a stud. And you know, I think there's like an era of relievers that were just incredible, that everything's kind of changed around the relief game in my mind. So a lot of these guys are like the last of their era, you know? It's the last, I think it's the last big dominant horse lefty that's going to go out and throw that many innings and have that many strikeouts. And the last hit it wherever you want, line to line. I'm going to beat it out no matter where I hit it kind of guy. And a quirky angle lefty that did his thing on the bump to close games.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take into account too. The game is rapidly changing. It's evolving. It's growing, both in terms of the style and the type of player that's coming through now. Yeah. So we're not done. I don't think seeing the last of their era type guys like you. I mean, as long as Justin Verlander, for example, is still pitching this league, you're gonna have some guys that you're gonna look at and go, wow.
I just think we're gonna start creeping. We're gonna start creeping into just the names and
no, for sure. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying,
and less numbers. You know what I mean? Like these guys are like, you can stare at the numbers and just be like, duh. And we're just eventually going to get to that point where, like, it's not so much about the numbers. It's like how this guy impacted the game and how long and how dominant he was. And then I think that conversation is just going to get a little bit more difficult as we go, because you can't compare what these numbers are going to look like to some of these guys like we saw get in today. Or yesterday. But anywho's, good stuff. Hall of Fame. Bad stuff. One writer.
Whose quote was this? Who said it? Whether it tastes like milk, whether it tastes like wine, we have to find out. Who said it? Was it Kanye? Was it Kanye? Was it Kanye? Was it Kanye? Whose quote was this?
Whose quote was this?
Hit me, buddy.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I think they fall right into line with the rest of the mainstream media out there, where it's like they're going to stoke the fire, they're going to get you riled up, they're going to insert their opinion where it doesn't need to be inserted, and then they're going to fall back and say, whoa, 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 we're just reporting on the information. No, you're not. And this was in reference to the BBWAA writers and the Hall of Fame. This was from episode 174 from January 28th, 2021, titled "The Hall of Fame is a Joke." Whose quote was this?
I think this might be the first miss. I don't know. I'm going to go me. First miss. Tough.
That's tough. That was me.
There was not a lot of clues in that quote.
I know. I intentionally pulled that one. I was like, this could go either way.
They really could have.
It's tough.
It really.
Well, we had a good run. I think we were undefeated up until this point, so that's a good run.
We need to, I think, just start making it more difficult. That was a good one. Yeah. Good take. Still holds up. Aged like wine, not milk. Theme song.
Speaking of wine, you can get some discounted alcohol at Camden Yards moving forward because the Orioles announced today, sort of closing the book here, sort of final thought. The Orioles announced that they're releasing what they're calling the Birdland Value Menu, where they're going to have discounted concessions at Camden Yards. We're looking at a $4. I mean, discounted. I use in air quotes because, I mean, as long as you can get a hot dog and a soda for $1.50 at Costco, I'm gonna look at.
That's fair.
I'm gonna look at things through that lens. So you're not tricking me, Orioles. But it's still worth noting. We're looking at a $4 hot dog. We're looking at nachos and cheese for $4, peanuts for $2.50. A refillable soda for $4, select beers for $5, bottled water $4. That still seems like a crime. And seltzers for $6. So, not really. It's not a topic that we need to spend a lot of time on, but it was announced today, and I feel like, you know what? If teams are going to start doing this, if you're not charging $20 for a beer, and you're going to make it affordable.
There's something happening here. Yeah,
I agree.
There's something happening. Separate note, I think I saw something like the Phoenix Suns owner came out with something similar to like $9 gets you nachos and a drink and something else.
Did this start with the Falcons? Am I remembering this correctly?
I think there's different teams that are starting to recognize this. That like, because again, if you get any ticket worth anything, $80 a pop, right? And you're not sitting anywhere near that. It's
standard
$20 for parking.
Yeah. I mean, the classic scenario, family of four. If tickets, and don't forget about the fees and all this stuff. Like if you go to
you're not getting out for under $300 and
it's insane.
Sitting without binoculars. You know what I mean? But shout out Orioles for doing this. I grew up a member of the Dugout Club, which was huge because I remember just getting the box. You got nosebleed tickets. You got like a wristband. I remember I had an Orioles batting glove, and it was back when it was cool that Cal Ripken only wore one batting glove. So
correct.
I did that. And then I think I got like the little bat. I just had a memory and I forgot. I had the record streak Cal Ripken bat. It was like a little, miniature bat.
Yep, I know exactly.
21-31 and like his face on it.
Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff. But it's a good cause, man. This is what you got to do. By the way, have you donated to the Yankee Fund yet? To settle that bet?
I haven't forgot. I definitely missed my I think I'd set like a soft deadline for that. I think I said when they lose the World Series or something. But
that reminded me of that.
We'll pick a day to commemorate that, and I'll make my donation. I believe it's $50.
I like affordable stuff, man. I like being able to just think of the common man, and good on the O's. Now figure out your parking situation, because that was not easy on us. Parking in some sketchy spot behind a mechanic shop or whatever we did.
I had to leave the game early because we didn't know if they would let us.
If we got towed, because
we were gotten towed.
It was like a Fleetwood Mac concert or something.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't us being kids. This was literally like 2 Octobers ago with the ALDS versus the Rangers. Crazy. Anyway, that's all I got.
Anyway, good stuff.
Anywho's.
We're inching closer, guys. We're getting there. It's almost February. Before you know it, pitchers and catchers will be reporting. I'm hoping we're going to have some signings, man. Like Bregman and Pete got to find a place. This is getting out of hand. So soon we won't have to fill episodes with garbage. You know what I mean? We can start actually doing some stuff. And for those that are new, we are going to start ramping things into some fun episodes. So
I can't wait.
It's going to be great. So buckle up. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Hey, hold on, pause. Just a little plug for the merch. It's been a minute since I threw it out there, but in case you missed it, ICYMI, in case you missed it, we dropped some merch. You can find it at 3. In fact, I got 2 of the hats right here. I know you got a couple. Shout out the merch. Shout out the shop. Little Stay Filthy, little 3-0 take, rope hat action. We got some other things on there. We got some jerseys on there. That's a first. We've never had jerseys. You can check out the shop. There's a beanie. Forgot I sent you that beanie.
Yeah.
It's pretty much snowing in all of the 50 United States at this point. So
not here. 60 degrees today.
I mean, that's basically snowing for Arizona. So you go get it. Go snag a beanie. It's going to be a little chilly out there. We still got a long ways to go, sadly, before it starts warming up. So go grab a beanie, grab a hat, grab a shirt, grab a jersey, and then stick around, hang out with us. We'll be here twice a week for the rest of the year. But yeah, like Nate said, we're gonna ramp it up. We got some fun projects coming up. We got some fun little content series coming up. little this, little that. But other than that,
It's bedtime. Don't
all
go
I got.
chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.